Today we're continuing with part 2 of what we started yesterday. We're using informal arguments to establish facts about the angle sum and exterior angles of triangles. So that's all we're working on in this lesson. Please make sure that you have your heading, and today's date is the due date. You'll need 6 stamps today. So just like part 1, you're going to be doing all of the problems on your own, but we are going to go through and do some notes together. So let's look over here at the first part of our notes. Okay, the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Always. 180 degrees. So anytime we have a triangle, all of the angles, when they say interior angles, they just mean the angles inside the triangle, so we could just say angles. They have to add up to 180 degrees. And there's lots of ways that we could get that. We could have a 90-degree angle and two 45s. We could have a 90-degree angle and then a 60 and a 30. We could have a 55-degree angle and a 40-degree angle and, let's see, that's 95, and then a 75-degree angle. We could have any combination there. Now, each exterior angle of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees minus the adjacent interior angle. So what this is saying is, here we have an exterior angle, and that makes a straight line here. Well, if we want to figure out the exterior angle, we can just subtract this interior angle. So if the interior angle here is 60 degrees, then we would know 180 minus 60 is 120 degrees for the outside. Just knowing those two rules, we can actually figure out any angle in one of these puzzles. And that's how I like to look at it, is just as a puzzle. So we're going to do this one together, and this will be just like the ones that you're going to be doing on your own. And I've given you two things to start with. Angle 4 is 55 degrees, and angle 12 is 107 degrees. And so we just have to kind of play around with things and see, well, what can we figure out right now? Well, we couldn't just automatically figure out angle 7, for example, because we don't have anything yet to help us figure out angle 7. But if we figure out some other things, then we will eventually have enough information that we can get angle 7. And eventually we'll be able to get all 12. So, I'm going to use my exterior rule that says 180 minus angle 10 is going to give me 107. So if we look on our calculator, that means that this angle plus 107 has to equal 180. So I'm just going to take 180 minus 107, and I get 73. So, boom. Angle 10 is 73 degrees. Go ahead and make sure you have that degree sign in your answers over here. So let's take a step back and look at how we did that. Looking up here, we know that an exterior angle, in this case it was 107, plus the interior angle have to equal 180. And so if I work backwards, I can figure out that the interior angle has to equal 73 degrees so that they can both add up to 180. So let's keep working here. Now I can figure out angle 5. Excuse me. I can do that because I know that the 3 angles inside the triangle have to add up to 180. And if I take 180 minus the 55 degrees for angle 4, and minus the 73 degrees for angle 10, then I get 52 degrees for angle 5. So since I've figured out all of my interior angles, I want to go ahead and add them up and make sure that they're right. So if I have 55 degrees plus 73 degrees plus 52 degrees, that gives me 180. So now we can keep working. I know that 52 degrees plus something have to give me 180. So I'm going to take 180 minus the 52 degrees that are right here, and I get 128 degrees for angle 6. (52) plus 128 gives me 180, which is what it needs to be for my interior and exterior angles. Also, remember from yesterday, these would be what we call adjacent angles because they make a straight line. And adjacent angles that form a straight line have to be supplementary. They have to add up to 180. Now, I could figure out angle 8 by doing the same thing. I could say, well, 5 and 8 make a straight line, and I could do the same thing and take 180 minus 52 and get 128. Or I could remember something we learned in part 1, which is vertical angles have to be equal, which means that 6 and 8 have to be equal. So this is 128 also. And if those are vertical angles, then 5 and 7 are also vertical angles. So 7 is 52 degrees. Well, I'm going to jump over here to this side because these will be quick to figure out. 10 and 11 are vertical, which means 11 has to be 73 degrees also. We were given angle 12, which is 107, and it's vertical to angle 9, so this has to be 107. Now we can test that by knowing these two angles are supplementary because they're next to each other. It's an exterior angle and an interior angle. And if I add those up, 107 plus 73 gives me 180, so it's correct. So we only have 3 angles left. Let's jump over here and look at angle 1. And let's look at angle 2 first. Angle 2 is vertical to angle 4, okay, because they make V's. So this is 55 degrees. I know that 1 and 3 have to be the same also because they are vertical. But how do I figure out angle 1? Well, I can take 180 minus the 55, and I get 125. Because these make a straight line, so they have to add up to 180. Or I could have used angle 2. These make a straight line, so they have to add up to 180. And so we figured out all of the missing angles. And we only started with 2 of them. So, again, we weren't immediately able to jump over to angle 7 and figure out that one. So that's okay, we just figured out what we knew. If the question was asking us for the measure of angle 7, and I'm looking at this and saying, well, I don't know what 7 is, what I have to do is remember that I may have to put in some extra steps to get to where I need to be. So I would be figuring out several other things that maybe the question's not asking for, but they're helpful to me so that I can actually accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. So the rest of these problems I'd like for you to do on your own. Please bring them to me in between questions if you don't mind, because since these may take a little bit longer, I don't want you to get a long ways down the road and then realize that you misunderstood something. So bring them to me. If there's any misunderstanding, we'll fix it right up, and then you'll be fine going forward. When you're finished, you should have 6 stamps, and this paper will be due today, and you're on your own. Thank you.